Hey man, welcome back to Man Time. Today's episode, I want to try to get this big log on the ground and get it stable to where I can start milling it. It's still hanging up on the air. I've got branches over here holding it up. I've got one little branch over here that's really keeping it elevated in the air. I want to try to get this one off of there. I've got some counterweight set up on that one. I grabbed one of the big limbs, set it on that branch that's hanging up in the air. So maybe it won't go to tipping this way as quick as it might want to. So let's get after it. Welcome to Man Time. Well, before I get too far here, I think I want to take off as much additional weight of the trunk here that I don't want, as much as I can here, right? So I've got this portion of it here. I'm going to try to cut this off. It looks like it wants to roll that way due to this piece of limb down here. So let's start here. I've only got the one clone saw with me today, and I've got fire ants up here. So this is going to make for an interesting day for sure. Got some stuff to stand on here. Might need a little bit more choke. There we go. Man, there is definitely some ups to a 92cc chainsaw, right? Alright, next biggest obstacle is going to be this right here. So it's held up here. It's going to be the tension, or the compression side is on the top here. So I'm going to want to get into the compression side, make a wedge, and then come in on the tension side. And it should start folding in on itself. And I've got the big chainsaw and the big bar so I can stand back. So as it's rolling this way, it can settle, without without crushing me, without crushing my leg, right? So let's give it a go. Yeah, interesting about this, you know, there's no half throttle. Well, it didn't do much, and that was kind of the goal. I'll show you the counterweight I've got on the other side. But yeah, it didn't move. The trunk of the tree didn't move. So, I think I can use the tractor to get it the rest of the way. Kind of where I need it to. Yeah, so here's what I had going on this side. There was one big branch that was sticking out off this side, and I put this huge log on there as a counterweight. Now I can come back with the tractor, pull this off of there, and then go around the other side, get that little chunk that I got pretty well all the way cut off, and let's see if it'll settle after that. Let's get this one that I just cut up out of there and see if it moves any from there. I mean, there's a lot of daylight under here. I feel like it should be rolling this way, but alright, last thing I'm going to try is to come in here with the tractor, lift up on this limb, and see if we can't get it to roll over. Interesting. Well, let's see what the G660 is going to do in just like some firewood type of rounds here. I'm going to try to get as close to 20 inch. I don't have my measuring tape. I left that up at the barn door where I'm doing all the firewood, but it's pretty full up there. So let's just try to cut this off into some 20-foot chunks. Maybe a little bit smaller. I'm going to have to be moving these around, you know, to and from like a pickup truck bed or something. Oh man, that's actually a pretty good saw. Now that the oiler and tensioner issues have kind of worked themselves out, that was bar buried, 36-inch, you know, hard, fresh redwood, red oak, which is harder than, I guess, redwood. But yeah, I mean, you could just see there, powered right through. Oiling, fine. You know, it's not as much oil as maybe I'd like. As I was revving it up there at the end, I was checking to make sure that it would re-oil because it was pretty dry. But there again, you're in the cut for a long time with the bar buried. It's going to get dry, right? And I've seen some high volume tricks you can do to the little piston inside of there. I may do that in the future, but yeah, I think we're almost ready for milling. Yeah, you saw there's still some air under it, but I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. It really, I don't know. I may cut up like main parts of the trunk into like 12-foot sections, so I can do like 12-foot slabs. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 10-foot into 10-foot sections. Haven't quite decided yet, but I've got a chainsaw mill that I'm going to be setting up and starting to run and figuring out how I want to break this up to make different size boards and whatnot. Plan is to use a lot of that for the window trim, baseboards, stuff like that in the new barn dough. Anyways, that's going to do it for today on Man Time. Get out there, have you some man time too.